Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are diving into a really fascinating, kind of overlooked corner of generational psychology. We spend a ton of time thinking about the tangible stuff we pass down to our kids, right? Like family recipes, heirlooms, maybe a grandmother's nose, or, I don't know, a grandfather's legendary stubbornness. But what about the hidden inheritances? What about those invisible frameworks that completely shape exactly how our families interact with the world around them? Well, today, we're going to look closely at exactly that, guided by the really incredible work of Dr. Shungu.
Because here's the thing, your children don't just inherit your eye color, they inherit your lenses. So we are going to explore 6 specific ways to check whether those lenses are actually helping them see clearly or kind of distorting their view of the world.
Okay, let's dive into this. Dr. Mrgadza introduces this brilliant concept of distorted lenses. Basically, these are our unconscious biases, our inherited beliefs, and those quiet assumptions that completely shape how a family interprets people and the wider world. Now, here is the absolutely crucial part. These lenses are almost never intentional. Nobody wakes up and says, hey, I'm going to pass down a distorted view of the world today. No way. Instead, they get passed down super subtly. We pick them up through family stories, shared environments, and, collective fears. We just inherit these perspectives without ever really questioning them. But today, we're going to change that. We're getting curious.
So, stage 1 on our journey. Ask, where do we learn this? This is all about naming those inherited beliefs.
To kick things off, we really have to become super reflective about the unexamined thoughts just floating around our family dinner tables. Next time a generalized belief about a group of people or a way of life pops up, I want you to pause and ask yourselves, wait, where did we actually learn this idea? And who taught us this? Was it a grandparent? Was it something on the news? Or maybe just one isolated incident from like 20 years ago? See, making bias visible is the very first step to interrupting it. By naming where a belief came from, you literally strip away its invisible power. You turn it into something you can hold up, look at, and actively examine.
That brings us to point number 2. Notice who is missing. We need to start identifying absent voices. Now, I want you to ask this next question with some real, deliberate weight. Whose voices were missing? Look closely at your family's social landscape. Are the beliefs your family holds actually based on real, broad experience with a diverse range of people? Or are they just built on fear and assumptions simply because certain perspectives are completely absent from your lives? Think about it. If a family only ever talks about a certain community without ever actually talking to them, yeah, that is a massive red flag. That's a huge indicator of a distorted lens at work. Okay, number 3, identify your family's caves. This means really examining our comfort zones.
I absolutely love this metaphor of the cave. It brilliantly illustrates how we naturally retreat into our comfort zones. And hey, we all do it. It is human nature to seek out what's familiar and safe. But we've got to take a hard look at those boundaries. Inside the cave, we have the people who visit our home, the folks we trust the most, the ones whose experiences completely dominate our daily conversations. But outside the cave, that's who we actively avoid, or maybe just feel deeply uncertain about. So, the ultimate reflective question to ask yourself here is, who do we rarely spend time with and why? Because, let's be honest, real growth almost always happens right outside those caves of comfort.
Moving on to step 4, challenge family narratives. It's time to replace correction with curiosity.
You see, families frequently carry these generalized, inherited messages that actually keep them trapped in those caves we just talked about. Think of those classic offhand statements like, well, people like us don't do that, or they're all the same. Now, when we hear those, our first instinct is usually to argue, right? To correct them. But what if instead we replace that correction with curiosity? What if we just gently asked, could there be other experiences or perspectives we just haven't considered? It's a real game changer. Introducing curiosity creates so much less defensiveness than arguing. It opens the door to actual reflection, rather than just slamming it shut in a shouting match.
Step 5, reflect on everyday judgments. We want to start creating some simple reflection rituals. Let's shift to some actionable everyday routines. How do we routinely check our lenses? Well, here are a few fantastic questions you can just naturally weave into your week. Maybe you're on the dinner table or on the drive to school. Did we make assumptions about anyone this week? What actually surprised us about someone? Did we hear only one side of a story? The secret sauce here is consistency. Having these small, repeated, low-stakes conversations is going to reshape a family's beliefs way more effectively than one massive, heavy sit-down talk that leaves everyone totally exhausted. It just builds a natural habit of open-mindedness.
Let's move to step 6 and see how this builds. Expand your lens intentionally. It's all about broadening perspectives.
So once you actually know your biases and you've mapped out your family's cave, you have to actively start bringing new light into your worldview. You can do this by deliberately broadening your perspectives. We're talking about the books you read and the films you watch together. It's about cultivating new friendships, traveling, engaging with different communities, listening to new podcasts, and seeking out diverse role models. Actively seeking out these totally new experiences is hands down the most effective way to challenge a narrow worldview and build that absolutely essential lifelong empathy.
Ultimately, as we pull all of this together, we really need to pivot our perspective. The question isn't just looking backward, asking, what beliefs did we inherit? Actually, scratch that. The much more urgent realization is forward-looking. What beliefs and possibilities are we passing on? Through this 6 stages framework, we realize that families don't just pass down holiday traditions or table manners. We are transmitting perspectives, comfort zones, and entire ways of seeing the world. And the profound opportunity we have right now is becoming conscious enough to literally choose what we keep from our ancestors and what we bravely decide to change for our kids.
So I'm going to leave you with this final lingering thought. What beliefs, fears, and assumptions are you passing on without even realizing it? Taking the time to clear the family lens isn't just some personal growth exercise. It's about taking true responsibility for the legacy of empathy and understanding that we leave to the very next generation. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those tough questions, keep stepping outside your caves, and I'll catch you next time.